In this video, we're revealing the 10 brutal stages of preparation behind Europe's most exclusive truck show. From midnight polishing in freezing yards to engines failing days before the ferry, you're about to see what it really takes to earn a spot on Ciney's red carpet. Stay until the end, we'll reveal the one moment every driver says makes it all worth it. Let's get into it. Number 10. Getting past the jury. You can't just turn up at Ciney with a clean unit and a hopeful smile. Every truck on that red carpet has been approved in advance by a selection jury, and the standard is brutal. Owners send in photographs of their lorries months ahead, and the organisers sift through applications from across Europe, from Scottish timber haulers to Dutch flour transporters, to Italian tanker operators. The entry fee itself is small, around €25 per truck. The real cost is everything you've done to the vehicle before those photos were ever taken. For a British owner-driver, sitting at the kitchen table, hitting send on that application, this is the moment the pressure starts. Because once the acceptance comes back, you've made a promise. Your truck will be standing in a Belgian exhibition hall in June looking flawless, whatever it takes. Plenty of drivers will tell you the acceptance email is a lovely feeling for about 10 minutes. Then they walk out to the yard, look at a working lorry, and the maths starts. How many weekends between now and June? Not enough. Never enough. And the jury isn't just looking for shine either. They want character, originality, a truck with a story. A tired fleet motor with a quick wash won't get near the hall, but a lovingly kept classic with honest patina just might. That's the game you're entering. And the first job on the list has nothing to do with shine at all, because before a show truck can look good, it has to be right underneath. Number 9. Winter in the workshop. The unglamorous truth about show preparation is that it starts in the dark months, under the truck, not on top of it. January and February are for the mechanical graft. Oil changes, brake overhauls, air leaks chased through the chassis, wiring looms checked inch by inch. Tyres get inspected and often replaced, because nothing spoils a show stance like a perished sidewall, and the truck still has to pass its annual test like any other working vehicle. A show truck that breaks down on the way to Belgium is worse than no show truck at all, so workshop teams treat the trip like an operation. Any lorry heading across the channel needs to be legally sound, roadworthy and reliable over several hundred miles of motorway. For the older machines, and Ciney loves its classics, this is where things get emotional. A restored Scania 141 or an old Volvo F12 doesn't just need servicing. It needs parts that stopped being made decades ago. Owners spend winter evenings scouring breakers' yards, auto jumbles and online forums for a genuine grille badge or a period-correct exhaust stack. One missing piece of trim can hold up an entire restoration. There's a particular kind of heartbreak in having a gleaming cab sat on a chassis that won't build air pressure. So the winter grinds on, cold hands on cold steel, until the truck is mechanically honest. Number 8. The paint shop gamble. If the engine is the heart of a show truck, the paintwork is its face, and at Ciney the faces are extraordinary. Full custom murals airbrushed across cab panels, movie themes, tributes to lost family members, entire landscapes wrapped around a sleeper cab. In the UK scene, a quality airbrush job on a cab typically runs £3,000 to £4,000, and a full custom paint job covering cab and chassis can push towards £10,000. That's real money for a working haulier. But the money isn't the scary part. The timing is. Custom painters are booked up months in advance, and a full respray is a slow, unforgiving process. The truck gets jet washed and degreased, sanded back, filled, flattered, primed, painted and lacquered, with inspection lamps hunting every imperfection between stages. If the painter finds hidden rust under an old repair, the schedule slips. If the lacquer reacts, the schedule slips. Every owner in the show scene knows someone whose truck was still in the booth a week before the event, panels in bits, while the ferry booking sat on the fridge like a ticking clock. Get it right though, and the reveal is something special. The moment the shutter goes up and a driver sees their own lorry wearing a design they sketched on a napkin 2 years earlier. That's when it stops being a truck and starts being their truck. Number 7. Chrome, stainless and 1,000 hours of polishing. Walk the hall at Ciney and the first thing that hits you is the shine. Stainless steel light bars, polished alloy fuel tanks, chromed bumpers, mirror finish wheel rims. None of it happens by accident. Polishing is the hidden labour of the show scene, and it swallows more hours than any other job. A single set of alloy wheels can take a full day with cutting compound and a machine polisher before they hold a true mirror finish. Fuel tanks are worse. Old hands will tell you polishing is like painting the Forth Bridge. By the time you've finished the back end, the front's gone dull again. Then there are the lights. Continental-style show trucks carry dozens of spotlights and marker lamps, stainless light bars up top, spot bars low on the bumper, illuminated nameboards behind the windscreen. The wiring behind a fully lit Belgian spec truck is a project in itself, with relays, fuse boxes and meters of loom hidden inside the cab roof. Every lamp has to work, because at Ciney the Saturday night light show is the main event, with the whole site glowing until close to midnight. Number 6. The cab becomes a living room. Here's the part outsiders never expect. At a show like Ciney, interiors matter almost as much as paint. Doors stand open all weekend, and thousands of visitors lean in to inspect every stitch. So the preparation goes deep. Retrimmed seats in buttoned leather, custom door cards, wooden dashboards polished like furniture, curtains, carpets and cab lighting arranged like a front parlour. Some of the Dutch and Belgian trucks take it to another level entirely. For British drivers of a certain age, this is where the nostalgia bites hardest. A properly restored classic cab, the smell of old vinyl and diesel, a period radio on the dash. It takes you straight back to nights, parked up on the A1 in 1985, curtains drawn, kettle going on a little gas stove. That's what the interior crowd at Ciney is really looking at. Not just upholstery, but memory. Number 5. The deep clean that never ends. There is cleaning, and then there is show cleaning. In the final month before Ciney, trucks disappear into wash bays and don't really come out again. This isn't a Saturday morning rinse. It's a multi-stage detailing operation borrowed straight from the show car world. 2-bucket chassis rail, hand washing so the paint never picks up a swirl mark. Machine polishing panel by panel, then glaze, then wax or ceramic protection to lock the finish in. Wheel arches get scrubbed with brushes. Mud flaps come off to be cleaned behind. Engine bays, and this is the bit that separates the casual from the committed, get detailed until you could serve dinner off the rocker cover. Drivers talk about spending 40 or 50 hours on the final clean alone, working evenings under floodlights in the yard, hands raw from degreaser. And the cruelest part, the truck still has to get to Belgium through weather, motorway spray, and several hundred miles of road grime. So much of this work will be done twice, once at home, once on arrival. Ask any exhibitor why they bother, and you'll get a shrug and the same answer will. The standard at Ciney is set by the best in Europe, and nobody wants to be the dull truck next to a Belgian showpiece. At this point, everything seems under control, which is usually when the truck decides otherwise. Number 4. The breakdown week. There's a law in the show scene, unwritten but universal. If something is going to fail, it will fail in the last 2 weeks. An airbag splits on the drive back from the final polish. A gearbox that's behaved for 3 years starts jumping out of fourth. A brand new light bar develops an electrical fault that kills half the marker lamps, and nobody can find the short. This is the week that turns preparation into chaos, and it's when the trucking community shows what it's made of. Phone calls go out at 10 at night. A fitter mate comes round after his own shift to help drop a fuel tank. A rival owner, and this is the part that gets missed, lends out the exact part you need, because the scene runs on that kind of loyalty. Workshops that were fully booked somehow find space, because everyone understands what Ciney means. Some of the stories from this week become legend. Cabs coming back from the painters with days to spare. engines rebuilt over a single weekend, a driver sleeping in the workshop to finish wiring by dawn, and sometimes, painfully, it doesn't come together. Every year a handful of accepted trucks never make the boat, their owners watching the show unfold on their phones from a yard in Yorkshire or Kent. For everyone else, the truck finally rolls out of the workshop, tested, taped up in protective covers, and pointed south. Because now comes the journey itself, number 3. The road to Belgium for continental exhibitors, Ciney, is a morning's drive. For the British contingent, it's an expedition. The route runs down to Dover or the tunnel at Folkestone, across the Channel, then out through Calais, and along the motorways of northern France or Flanders, heading southeast towards the hills of the Ardennes. Owners plan it like a military move. Ferry bookings made months ahead, fuel stops mapped, paperwork folded in the door pocket. Add up the crossing, the diesel, the tolls, and a couple of nights away, and a British exhibitor can easily spend the thick end of £1,000 just getting there and back, all for a truck that earns nothing while it's gone. Many travel in convoy, 3 or 4 show trucks running together, radios crackling, a support van behind carrying generators, polish, spare bulbs, and enough microfiber cloths to open a shop. Number 2. The night before the gates open. Arrival day at Cine Expo is organised chaos. Hundreds of trucks queue along the approach roads while stewards check paperwork and wave exhibitors through to their allocated spots, the finest machines heading inside onto the red carpet of the 6,000 square metre hall, the rest arranged in gleaming rows across the outdoor site. And then, almost immediately, everyone starts cleaning again. This is the famous final rush. The site even lays on professional truck cleaning, but plenty of crews trust nobody but themselves. Generators hum into the evening as polishers spin over travel-stained tanks. Families work as pit crews, one on wheels, one on glass, one running for chips from the food trucks. Around the hall, trade stands are still being built, stacked with accessories, spare parts, lights and scale models of the very lorries parked outside. Number 1. The gates open Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, and the Temple of Show Trucks opens its doors. The crowds pour in, day tickets in hand, kids free through the gate, and the months of graft finally meet their audience. Visitors walk the red carpet between machines worth more than houses. Working hauliers stand next to retired drivers pointing out cabs they drove 40 years ago. Serious enthusiasts photograph every polished hub, every airbrushed panel, every immaculate interior with its doors thrown open. This is why Ciney pulls truck fans from across a continent. It isn't the biggest show in Europe, but many argue it's the finest, because the jury system means there are no fillers in the hall. Every truck earned its place. Through the day, the site buzzes with food trucks, trade stands, and the low thunder of engines being started for the crowd. And it's a proper family day out too.